What's happening, Delco? I'm Rich Shane, and welcome to the What's Happening Delco podcast. Today, I'm joined by Teano, Jessica Colameco, and Emily Forte of YogaSix. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi. Thanks for having us.
So Dan, Jessica, and Emily, you are representing YogaSix of Glen Mills. What is YogaSix?
Yeah, so what we provide is a multi-sensory, unique yoga experience that's accessible to beginners, to advanced yogis. We are very proud of the practice that we offer. It's unique. And do you want to speak on the practice?
Yeah, so all our classes are meant to be for anyone. So we have a 101 class that's a great place to start. We have slow flow for people that might want to move a little slower and really refine their yoga poses. We have a power class that's a little more challenging. It's where we break out the arm balances and the handstands and some of the fun poses. We also have a restore class that's meant for muscle recovery and to restore either other workouts you're doing, or you can do it just on its own. It's a great class. And then our hot class is our signature sequence. So it's the same poses every time in the same order. A lot of people love that because they can then see their progress, like from their first class to, hopefully their 50th or 60th class. And then we also have a sculpt and flow class. So it mixes weights and some cardio and some HIIT training with the yoga.
This just isn't just, hey, we're doing yoga. Dan, you said something that really intrigued me. You said multi-sensory. What is that? What is incorporated in multi-sensory?
Yeah, so a lot of our classes are heated. So you get the element of heat. We use essential oils during our practice, and the color of the room changes depending on the type of sequence or intensity. And that just enhances the mind-body experience, and it's one of a kind.
That sounds very interesting to me because it seems like something unlike anything I've heard or experienced in yoga. And my yoga experience is very little, but the idea that it's mindfulness, right? So with the heat and the smell and the sight, and you're really focusing, creating a calming, attention-grabbing experience for those that are working with you or working with the yogis or working to grow and build their own experience in yoga, yes?
Yeah, absolutely. I like to say yoga is not just working out, it's also working in, and having all those elements of the multi-sensory experience helps you settle into your body and helps you get deeper into poses mentally. And this multi-sensory experience isn't just in the practice room. It happens as soon as you walk into the door, right? So as soon as you walk into our studio, you have a warm welcome. You'll smell the essential oil from the diffuser. You'll hear music. And when you come out of class too, before you leave, we give you a cool towel that has either lavender essential oil or eucalyptus or tea tree. So it's a full experience that happens when you walk in and you practice the studio, and then when you walk out.
Well, thank you for hitting on, really that from the door experience. And I think it sounds like in a lot of ways, this is something that sets YogaSix apart from other yoga experiences, elevates it a little bit differently. And everybody does, I always say, everybody does you do you. And in a way, you're creating your own niche experience. What do you also find, that entices people? What is it about YogaSix that's that presentation? Say, I want to try that.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is everything we already touched on, is that you do get that full sensory or multi-sensory yoga experience. It's also that you can choose where you start, so if you're an experienced yogi, you can hop right into power and hop up into your headstand or handstand. But if you've never done yoga before, you haven't done it for the past 5 years, or, life got in the way, you can start with 101, or you can try our slow flow and then slowly work on some of the other classes. Or if you want to just fit that weight work or that strength training into your practice, you can take the sculpt and flow as well. So it's kind of like a challenge by choice, which I love, that there truly is a class for everyone. And then whatever you are looking for, you can decide what that is day to day. So you might want a hard power class today and then to come to restore tomorrow and really, work out any tightness or get that muscle recovery from your power class the day before.
Yeah. And our aim is to be as supportive and accessible as possible. So we have a prop room where we have bolsters, which are like yogi pillows, blocks, straps to help stretch, IT band and all that good stuff. And if it's your first time, we'll be introducing you to the teacher. And that way we can talk about any restrictions that you might have, injuries, or just things to look out for. So I think that definitely sets us apart, just being supportive and accessible.
For the three of you, talk about your yoga experience. How did you come to yoga individually?
Me, YogaSix is a franchise, right? And I had always been into exercise and fitness, but I didn't really consider myself a fitness guru or person that, had some kind of extreme workout that I did 6 days a week. And I was always intimidated by yoga, quite frankly. Mentally, I have a really hard time turning my mind off. I'm just always on the go. And physically, whenever I would go into a yoga class previously, I couldn't touch my toes. I'm not very flexible. And I always felt like I was being judged. So when I learned about YogaSix and I started looking into fitness franchises and I took a class, I instantly felt different. The second I walked in the door, someone was smiling at me. They greeted me. They asked me if I had done yoga before and told me, don't be intimidated. I walked into the room on my mat and they made sure I was set up properly. The whole class and community experience was so supportive, and I was pretty much sold. I knew that I needed to take this away from the West Coast and really get it to Delco. So that's my experience.
Dan or Emily, how about for you?
Okay. Yeah, I played sports all of my life. And like Jess mentioned, I have a very active, restless mind. So being an athlete and having someone who's very hyperactive mentally, I realized that stretching before bed was very helpful to help me sleep. So I've been doing this for 10 plus years where I would stretch for 10 to 15 minutes at the very least. And then in college, I actually worked part-time at a yoga studio. So that was my first introduction to yoga. And then fast forward to now, through extensive sales experience, through other jobs, this was like a nice blend of my career history and my passion, which is talking, communicating with people and bringing them into a world that I think is beneficial for them, and yoga.
Yeah, and I started going to yoga when I was in college as well. It's like 15 plus years now, but I found yoga in college. And then when I was in grad school, things were just very stressful. Someone in my family was going through skin cancer. My schedule was just wild. So a friend took me to, it was like a hot power vinyasa, like really hard yoga class. And I was like dying the whole time in it. But at the end, I had that feeling of like, oh my God, I want this feeling again. So I kept going. And those 2 years, it was kind of like the only time I had to myself. Like all of my time was dedicated to somebody or something else, just from everything going on. And then the hour that I made it to yoga, it was like my only time on my mat. So it really gave me like the mental space and clarity to think about, things not going on off my mat and like tap into my own body. And then I got certified to be a yoga teacher in 2012, I believe, 2011 or 2012. And then I've been teaching ever since then. So 2020, I left my full-time job to teach full-time. And here I am, YogaSix.
What's really exciting to me is to listen to and hear all your individual stories. That what resonates back to me is that you meet people where they are, that newcomer, that somebody that's, I'd like to get started, somebody that's an athlete that, is discovering this as a modality for opportunity to be even better, somebody that, just is in this spot that needs something else, that needs centering, that needs a place away from what is in their lives every day. And look, we're just at the beginning of 2023. And they say that in February, there's that magical day in February where the earth stands still, and people who made those New Year's resolutions, if they haven't stopped them yet, or those goals, either they don't see the results they were looking for, or just feel like they haven't made that full commitment, and they leave, they get away. But for the three of you, what is important to me to stress is you can start anytime. And this YogaSix opportunity is a place to meet whoever it is where you are. And it's a good time to start. Don't feel intimidated. Don't feel like you're not at that fitness level, that somebody can't take you to another level. That's exciting. And I really hear the passion that for the three of you to what you bring to your client and customer base.
Yeah. And one thing I do love about YogaSix, Jess kind of mentioned it too when she was talking about what drew her to the brand, but a lot of other yoga studios view props like the blocks as a crutch, as like, oh, I'm not going to take blocks because I'm an advanced yogi or an experienced yogi, where we encourage everybody to take blocks. And we say it's basically just an extension of your hand or of your foot, or, brings you a little bit closer to the floor, and expect everyone to take them. Some of the teachers also do different things that are more advanced with the block. So you might squeeze it in your hands to really engage your core while you're in like a triangle pose, which is kind of both feet on the ground, one foot pointed forward, and then both your legs are straight. So if you're squeezing a block in front of you or over your head, you're going to get that much more engagement through your shoulders, your core, even your legs, potentially your hips. So we view blocks as like just an extension of yourself in the pose versus, blocks are only for beginners kind of thing. We love our blocks. We love all our props, our straps too. Yeah.
If somebody wants to schedule an appointment or see the full menu of what you offer, how do they find you?
Well, you can always come into the studio. We're at the shops in Brandon Lake. We would love to talk to you. We have wonderful wellness advisors here who are each passionate about yoga and health and wellness in general. Or you can call or text the studio.
So what's the address, and what is the number that people should be calling or texting?
Yeah, we're located at 100 Evergreen Drive, Glen Mills, PA. We're in between Color Me Mine and Wild Birds Unlimited, and our studio phone number is 484-402-7374.
Now, do you have a social media presence? So if somebody wants to go and see, some of those things that you're sharing with the community, can they find you on the Instagram or the Facebook?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we post pretty much every single day. We do reels. We feature our wellness advisors, our members, and it's a fun time on Instagram. So go ahead and give us a follow at YogaSix-Glen Mills.
Awesome. For the three of you, what motivates you? What gets you out of bed every morning?
Me, it's truly people. I love people so much, and to have my true dream be available to me right now of being a small business owner and also able to build this community, I feel like every day I'm waiting for someone to pinch me and tell me, nice try, Jess, but you're awake now. And it hasn't happened yet. So just the fact of waking up every day with that blessing and knowing that at least for 60 minutes every day, I can hopefully help improve someone's day or even life. I don't know what more you could really ask for.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Jess. I tell Jess at least once a week, like, this is truly my dream job. And I'm so glad I found you and you found me. And, it was scary to leave a full-time 13-year career. I was working in higher education before this to jump into yoga full-time, but I'm so glad I did. And I'm also, living my dream. And I hope that I'm providing students what I was provided in college and grad school and even beyond, that space to truly explore themselves and explore not only their physical body, but their mental body and what they need. So yeah, truly a dream job for me too.
Yeah, for me, it's to learn more about the journeys, the individual health and wellness journeys of everyone on the team and people coming through the door. Yoga is a great tool, but it's not the only tool or asset that people have in their health and wellness arsenal. So it's awesome talking to different members and seeing what else they do for recovery, because I've been really sick in the past. And so it's really nice to take a deep dive with people and see what else they do for their workout regimen.
You have a big grand opening coming up at the end of February. Would you like to talk about that? What people can expect? Some of the festivities going on?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be 3 days long, the last weekend of February, and all classes are going to be completely open to the community. So they're free and we encourage everybody to come in. They are all themed, whether it be movie soundtracks, different artists, and even bringing in some more mindful practices like sound healing and sound bowls. So we're very excited about it. We're going to have local vendors from other small businesses in the community that will be handing out food. We have raffle items. So just really looking forward to honestly having a big 3-day party and doing some yoga.
That sounds like so much fun. I just wish it were already February 24th to the 26th so we can really experience all that together.
Yeah.
As you have found your journey in yoga and your journey in life, who mentors you? Who inspires you?
For me, it's honestly the team. I mean, every day when I come in, we brainstorm, they come up with amazing ideas, and to see them grow with the community, it's just really rewarding. It keeps me on my toes. You know, I know that I have to keep going. I need to keep improving because the community is growing, the team's growing, and, you know, we got to keep meeting the need.
Yeah, I think for me, there's two things. We do have a master training team that is in our corporate office. Well, they're actually all around the country, but they're employed by our corporate office, and they are all just amazing yogis, and they run trainings every other week that are free for our teachers. And then they also run 200-hour and 300-hour trainings. So they inspire me to be a better teacher and are constantly just offering professional development that's free for our teachers, which I think is awesome. And then my family really motivates me. My grandfather was a small business owner back in the day. He had a little antique store. So I know, you know, like my whole family wants to support small businesses. And my parents worked really hard to get to where they are and to help me get to where I'm at. So family and the master training team, definitely for me.
We have an amazing community of members who are each very committed to feeling better or moving better. And feeling more comfortable and safe in their own bodies. And they're very open in sharing how practicing yoga here has helped neuropathy or shoulder pain or joint pain, and talking to them and hearing about, oh, now they can go back on the driving range or they can play paddle again. It's super awesome to hear, and it's exciting and it's inspiring.
Now, your studio is in Glen Mills. Glen Mills is Delco. How do you describe Delco to somebody that's not from here and wasn't sure what Delco is?
It's like one big neighborhood or one big family. It almost feels like during when we weren't open yet and we were still selling founding memberships, or we were still selling founding memberships, but when we were in pre-sale, it almost felt like I talked to one person and then all of a sudden there's this ripple effect of referrals and people joining. And we opened with 200 members because just Delco and the community is so strong. And you really feel it before class and during class, especially, and after class too, where people will just hang out and talk. And it's awesome to see.
They don't seem to care at all. I mean, I live in Delco, I'm in media too. And just even outside the studio, it doesn't matter if someone met you 30 seconds ago. It feels like they would genuinely do anything for you if you needed it. So now to have this space of the studio and have that same community come in here, it's just incredible.
You are on your way to the studio, or you just had a great yoga experience and you're looking for a cheesesteak option? Where are you going?
I'm going to Las Vegas.
Where's that?
I go to the one in Aston.
Anybody else have a favorite cheesesteak option?
I used to live in Manioc. We're out in Phoenixville now, so we're not as close to the good cheesesteaks, but I loved D'Alessandro's. I don't think there's anything better.
Yeah, I want to plug a local mom and pop shop. They're called Aunt B's in Chester, PA. And I found them through a YouTube food vlogger that I follow. And they have a great salmon cheesesteak. So for those who don't eat meat, or pescatarian, definitely check them out.
Dan, you are the first person I've ever have share a salmon cheesesteak, and that sounds delicious to me. So
yeah,
that may be
delicious.
when if we ever leave Delco, I don't know why we would want to, but if we ever leave Delco, we'll check this Chester County place out and learn what a salmon cheesesteak is. So thank you for bringing that to our little Delco.
Oh, absolutely.
World.
It's delicious.
You've had your fill of cheesesteaks. You're looking for pizza. Where are you going for pizza?
Little Anthony's.
Yeah, I'm going to Ravenesi, right down the street from us.
Okay.
I'm a huge Franzones fan. I love the boardwalk pizza, the swirl. So there's a Franzones in Maniac. There's one in Conchi. I think the original is in Bridgeport. But it's amazing.
Tremendous. You're on your way to the studio. Maybe you need a little convenience store option. Where are you going? Wawa or Royal Farms?
Oh, Wawa all the way.
Wawa. Yeah.
You guys didn't take too much time to think about that. It was just kind of all blurted out at the same time.
I used to live in Maryland, and it was still Wawa all the way.
Well, there's a Wawa like 2 minutes from the studio too. So anytime you need a quick lunch or a coffee, we're like, I'm running a Wawa.
If you have friends or family coming into Delco and you want to give them or share that Delco experience with them after they come to YogaSix, after they have a wonderful revitalizing yoga experience, a class, where are you taking them or where are you sending them to?
I mean, I live in media, right? So I'm a little partial to that, but I just love State Street. I love taking people up to State Street, especially if it's summertime and they happen to be here on a Wednesday and we can dine under the stars. I just always think that's like a nice touch. So that would be my plan.
One thing I love about Delco, and I don't think it's talked about enough, is the different hiking trails around here. Newland Grist Mill is right down the street, and it's absolutely beautiful and breathtaking. So I would definitely go there.
I love Terrain. It's also right across the street. But it's this big, they have plants, they have cute home decor. They also have a little cafe. You can grab lunch or coffee or chai or whatever you'd like. So I think that's a good, like after yoga, especially Sunday, go grab brunch, go grab coffee, walk around, spend some money. It's a good time.
All three great times to really experience and enjoy Delco. This has been awesome. Is there anything that we haven't touched upon today on the podcast? Anything you want to share either about you or YogaSix that you want the listeners to know?
I think for me, I just want to stress, like so many people say to me, oh no, I can't do yoga. I can't touch my toes. And I just want everyone to remember, right? This is Jessica, the owner of YogaSix-Glen Mills, and I still cannot touch my toes. And it's okay. We are here for you. Like you already said, Rich, we meet you where you are. So if anything, I just want people to remember that this is truly no intimidation, no judgment. And I hope that people are encouraged and feel a little bit more comfortable to walk in and really be treated that way.
Similar to what Jess said, you have to build flexibility. So you wouldn't walk into a gym and be like, oh, I'm not going to start lifting because I can't lift 100 pounds. You do yoga to become flexible. You don't do yoga only if you are flexible. So you have to take those baby steps, start in the 101 or start with Restore, and slowly but surely, you may be able to touch your toes one day or build up some of that flexibility and strength. Like you don't just start coming in, banging out, arm balances. You have to work your way up just like any workout. So try it, stick with it, and then you'll see results.
Yeah. And if you feel like there's a gap in your fitness routine, or if you want to become more fit and you have a lot of joint pain, or you want something that's a low impact, just give it a try. We hear people say like, oh, I don't like yoga. It's boring. It's not for me. I'm not flexible. Just give it a shot. A lot of our founding members here have never practiced yoga in their life, and they signed up and they absolutely love it.
For 2023, I think after we've spent the last couple of years isolated in our own bubbles, in our own world, 2023, in my mind, is the year to go out and do things that are hard, to do things that are going to challenge you. And really, in a lot of ways, the practice of yoga and I'd like to hear you speak to this as practicing yoga teachers and practitioners. It's almost about failure. And if you understand that you're not going to always succeed in a pose or the things that you would want to do to get to that next level, you're going to fail, and be okay with that and say, I failed at this and this is where I'm starting, and look at where I'm going to achieve and realize some things that I want to achieve for my own wellness. But when you talk to people, Jessica, I can't touch my toes. I tried, I failed. You go after it. You try it. 2023, do hard things. But is that certainly a lesson that you have the ability to teach and help your students with, that failure idea?
Yeah, I mean, I always say that with failure comes growth, no matter what it is. And you either learn about yourself or you learn about, what you were maybe not doing correctly or how you can change it. And then you learn, you do a deep dive, like when I was learning arm balances, I did a deep dive into anatomy and I was like, what does my shoulder need to do in this pose? And students may not do that, and that's fine, but we can help them with that. I can be like, your shoulders need to be stacked over your wrists for this. You need to engage your core. Like, that's why it is great to come to a studio if you're working on something. So I know a lot of people do like the YouTube yoga, but there's nobody there to tell you if you're in the right alignment for your body or, if you're truly working up to something. So with every failure is growth. I've fallen on my face so many times learning arm balances. Again, you can use a block under your forehead for arm balances and then you won't face plant, but we can help you, after those failures to work up to whatever your goal may be.
Yeah, and during class, if we're in like, let's say tree pose or dancer pose and you're on one leg, the teacher will tell the students all the time, embrace the wobble, embrace the shakiness. And that actually helps settle you in. Once you stop resisting the fact that you're shaking and you're just like, you know what, this is difficult. That's when the nerves kind of settle and you get settled back into your body and you actually stabilize a lot quicker than if you would have just resisted it.
Jessica, Dan, and Emily, I am so grateful for your time today. This has been such a learning, uplifting experience for me. Looking forward to stopping by and seeing your studio in person and immersing myself in some yoga and some classes. So thank you very much today. Thank you for being a friend of What's Happening Delco. And we can't wait to hear more about your successes and all that you have going on to create this wonderful yoga community.
Thanks, Rich.
It's been such a joy. Thank you for inviting us.
Anytime. First class is free always for everybody, not just you. So feel free to stop in.
Not just me. First class is free for everybody. That's a great way to end the podcast.